Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. This is me, comedian George Wallace, the new Mr. Vegas. I'm here with you tonight. I'm famous. But let me tell you something. Your host tonight, Joseph Jaffe, he's not famous. He's not famous at all. But that's all we can do for you tonight. That's the best we can do. You know, Joseph is like Jon Stewart wannabe. He's like a Howard Stern wannabe. He is not famous, but he's your host, okay? Maybe he'll do good tonight. This is what you paid for. This is what you get. So, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you want to show him some love. Please welcome the not so famous Mr. Joseph Jaffe. Make some noise. Make some.
Woody hoo!
Woody hoo! Out here in the stream, as in the streaming era, I fight for my dreams. I get my heart into my living.
You encourage drinking or marijuana use on the show?
I don't need a fight, cause Evelyn's right. Or you could sponsor an emu. I'm Batman.
That's your tweetable moment, folks. That's your tweetable moment.
If Mark Zuckerberg makes a metaverse, is that Web3? No, it's Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse.
He's like us. He's flawed.
Just a little segue.
That's some dope shit, dude. That's really, really nice.
Woody hoo!
Woody hoo! Yes, yes, yes. What? It is the final recording. It is not the final countdown. It is my final recording of 2022. There will be a totally pre-recorded show next week. But tonight, Tuesday, let me check, December 20th, 5:03 p.m. Because it is 5 o'clock somewhere. It is 5 o'clock right here. This is not apple juice. This is daddy juice. This is a nice Glenmorangie 15-year because I am celebrating the year that was. It seems like one of those times where we still have to say good riddance to bad rubbish, but it's been a crazy year. I'm going to reflect on my year. I'm going to reflect on the year. But something struck me as well, which is we don't give ourselves credit, as much credit, any credit sometimes, for all the things that we've done and accomplished. Maybe we're worried about what we didn't accomplish, or we're trying to look too far ahead, and sometimes we just gotta chill and take a break and pat ourselves on the back, saying, you survived and you're still alive, as you saw in the intro. Chip is here. Glenmorangie. Why not, Chip? Welcome to the show. We're gonna do a whole bunch of things. Look, we've got John Lee Dumas on the show. Now, when I say he's on the show, well, maybe he's on the show, or maybe it was pre-recorded, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. You're going to have to determine. But Entrepreneurs on Fire, what an incredible podcast. What an incredible guy. And the conversation is amazing. Seriously, the conversation is amazing. You will be inspired. You will be motivated. You will be subscribing to the show because why wouldn't you? It's free, damn it. And wait, there's more. We're not just talking about John Lee Dumas. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome Violetta Zaroni, singer, songwriter, actress, NFT goddess, entrepreneuress. And she's going to be performing, I believe she's going to be performing Moonshot. I love the fact that I can end this year with a creator, with a real creator, with a creator in terms of the old-fashioned traditional sense of the word, artists, singers, songwriters, but also a creator in terms of being an innovator, someone who is perfecting, crafting, fine-tuning, honing her art across multiple platforms. We think about vinyl, we think about streaming, but now when we think about the future of music from an NFT standpoint, there is a lot to look forward to. And you can look forward to her coming on the show in just a short amount of time. Now, look, when I said to you, the world has gone mad, the world has gone crazy. I was not lying. I don't lie. I only try and tell the truth. We had this richest man in the world who's no longer the richest man in the world, somehow deciding that he wanted to buy Twitter and then deciding to policy buy, not tweet, but policy buy poll. Should I step down as the head of Twitter? I will abide by the result. In fact, the meme that came out of this, everybody asking questions and saying, I will abide by the results of this poll. 57% of people said, step down, focus on space, focus on autonomous vehicles, focus on tunnels, but just leave us alone as we engage in our spaces and our tweet wars. And but I want to keep the blue check mark if that's okay, because I kind of like that. It's one way of someone who is not famous being just a little bit less not famous. And you're right, Chip. NFT music is promising. If you are watching live right now, feel free to comment if you like. I will make sure that every comment, not some, but every comment within reason is put on the show. And what else happened? Well, some people were saying that this was proof that NFTs were alive and kicking. And I'm not so sure. But that floor is sinking like quicksand. That floor is sitting at 0.23. Actually, it's 0.238 and dropping all the time. Crazy stuff going on with the former president making a huge, big announcement that I think the announcement was that he was going to rug his supporters just a little bit more. But in all seriousness, the craziness of being able to launch not just an NFT collection, but apparently one ripping off stock photography across the board. The world has gone just a little bit crazy. Now, I love this, the Marketoonist. I've had the Marketoonist on the show. This is the contradiction. This is the catch-22. This is what I call Groundhog Day in the metaverse. How should we operate in this environment? Play it safe, cut spending, pull back investment, no big moves. Wait and see. Anything else? We also have to completely reinvent how we do business. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the Collective Cafe, which is Alpha Collective's virtual coffee that we do every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had an amazing conversation this morning, or maybe it was yesterday morning. The days blend into weeks, into months, etc., where I said, we want to be the tortoise in the race between the tortoise and the hare. We all want to slow and steady wins the race. We all want to think long-term, play the long game. But then I turned around and I said, you know what? We're actually the hare, whether we like it or not. We are those of us that are in, and this show is not all about Web3, but I'm all in on Web3. But I think Web3 as well as a microcosm for innovation, for disruption. If you believe that the statistics show us that only about 3% of the population owns an NFT, well, then anyone who owns an NFT is in that 3%. And therefore, according to Rogers' diffusion of innovations curve, you are an innovator. You are the hare. And we know what happens to the hare. The hare gets cooked by Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction. Is it Glenn Close or was it Sharon Stone? Suddenly I'm like confused. And suddenly I'm aging myself. I just aged out. But the hare gets cooked. The frog gets boiled. The hare gets cooked. Suddenly I couldn't work out exactly. No, Sharon Stone was in Fatal Attraction, and I don't know. I got confused for a second. But listen, the rabbit is being eaten. That's the bottom line. You want to be the tortoise. How do you avoid being the tortoise when you're the hare? Make sure you don't fall asleep at the wheel. Make sure that you don't let down your guard. Make sure that you don't become complacent. Recognize that in this world right now, when people are pulling back, you can push forward, but don't let your guard down. Do that at your peril. So I want to reflect on my year. And first of all, actually, before I even talk about the reboot, the relaunch of my creator coin, my cryptocurrency, talking about giving yourself credit, I actually realized First of all, I've lost 25 pounds. Second of all, I have now clocked 5,000 minutes on Peloton. I'm doing my intermittent fasting. I'm going to break my intermittent fasting on a scotch. Probably not a good idea. So I'll make sure that I only start drinking when John Lee Dumas comes on the show. But we don't give ourselves enough credit. I look back and I think about the Jaffe coin, and I think about my experience on rally.io, but I'm about to relaunch my token on Solana and continue to build this ecosystem, the Jaffe economy. And I hope my goal always is to be a beacon, is to be a light, is to be a use case, is to be able to innovate and put myself out there, stick my neck out, and show that every single creator should think about tokenization, should think about how they can create an economy around them. So the Jaffe coin comes back. And then, of course, many of you know that I've launched a project, a Web3 mastermind, a premium community, a professional organization called Alpha Collective. And we have a goal, we have a mission, which is to onboard the next billion wallets, the next $1 billion that come in from the big brands, because that way we all rise together. The rising tide floats all boats. And I got to tell you, just some of we have 52 Alpha Talk speakers delivering 52 Alpha Talks across 52 weeks. Pre-Web 3, pre-Web 2, pre-Web 1, pre-Web 0. We've never seen any offering with 52 consecutive keynotes, subject matter experts, thought leaders, experts, practitioners. 52 of them, 26 male, 26 female. Because if we want to do something about diversity, equity, inclusion, and access, if we want to stop talking about the fact that there aren't enough women in tech, women in business, women in Web3, well, one way to go about doing that is to make sure that you lead the way. And so every bit counts, every ally counts. 26 men, 26 women. Look, if you want to get into Alpha Collective, you can do so. You can do so pretty much for free, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. I just want to show you Kevin Degods from Dust Labs and Sandy Carter and Baratunde Thurston, Iris Nevins, Ryan Carson, Gigi Scarlett. So super, super excited about the fact that, why did I put Ryan Carson twice? I don't know, and also Sandy Carter twice. I guess I got excited. But Pepsi's CMO, Todd Kaplan, and Sarah Austin, Shira Lazar, and my friend Brian Fanzo, we are just getting started. So if you want to become a part of this, there is a payment. There is the ability to buy in, but you can actually get something off the floor for 0.004. Oh, it rhymes like a limerick. And you can do that by going to OpenSea. You will get access to all 52 of these Alpha Talks. You will get access to the Collective Cafe. You will get access to networking opportunities. You will be able to get in front of the big brands, and you will also be able to attend some of our events. So I'm proud of being able to be a builder, launching a collection, minting out a collection. It really does feel good. Now, I spoke to you about the Collective Cafe, and in the Collective Cafe, in discord.gg/Alpha Collective, every single morning, Monday through Friday, we discuss issues and news, and we manifest on Monday, and we have no agenda Friday, and we do a whole bunch of things. We've been doing a live read of my first book every Thursday. We're going to be doing a live read of Super Bosses in January, and every single month, we will do a live read and discussion of another book. Actually, in Life After the 30-Second Spot, I'm so proud of the fact that I wrote this book 17 plus years ago. And in the book, I said community is the only real economy of scale. In today's brave new world, community is the next iteration of the legendary water cooler effect. The future of business is community. And here we are 17 years later, trying again to implement that. In the Collective Cafe, we also birthed my 6th book, Forever Change. This is the cover of the book, which will also be an NFT, designed by Ali Sabet, who's been on the show as well. It is the first book in the world where readers will get royalties. I'm so excited about what we are going to accomplish. In the Collective Cafe, I spoke to you about some of the ideas and some of the discussions. We recently went quite in-depth, deconstructing Gary Vee's original prediction, correct one, about the fact that most NFT collections would go to zero. And we discussed and we debated that. And you can actually get access to that through my LinkedIn at Jaffe Juice on LinkedIn, and subscribe to my newsletter. And then, of course, there is Ye. There is Ye. There is Kanye. Let alone the Elon Musk saga. The final piece of my update is really about something that I did that I absolutely take so much pride in, which is teaching. I taught at NYU, and this actually was one of my group's final presentation from a crisis communication plan. And I will be sharing their deck on LinkedIn because I think they did a really great job, even though they were super, super conflicted in terms of whether to even role play that they were representing this very troubled individual. And then from the sublime to the ridiculous, we also witnessed an influx of AI-generated everything for the most part. I'm actually using some of these avatars now as my official Clubhouse or Twitter avatar. In the top left, you've got my evil, villainous self. You've got Tarzan. You've got me as an animated character, as a punk rocker. I don't know, as God, perhaps. Not that I'm a narcissist. And then, of course, I don't know, Howard Stern wannabe. That I will take, because I've really tried to model myself on Howard Stern, who is the world's greatest interviewer. So on the subject of AI, we get to our final, or my final, recorded or live seated soliloquy in 2023. And this one, which is actually a repeat of one that I've done, is called Keep the Faith. As many of you are aware, we are currently experiencing what is known as a crypto winter, a period of declining prices and market uncertainty in the world of cryptocurrencies. It can be easy to lose faith during these times, but I want to remind you that this is not the first bear market we have faced, and it certainly won't be the last. In fact, the history of innovation is filled with periods of uncertainty and doubt. Every new technology, every groundbreaking invention has faced skeptics and naysayers, but time and time again, the forward-thinking and the bold have persevered, and their faith has been rewarded. So what makes these pioneers different from those who give up? It's their belief in the power of progress, their conviction that the future will be better than the present. It's their willingness to take calculated risks, to embrace change and uncertainty, and to learn from their mistakes. That's what I want to encourage you to do today. Don't let the crypto winter shake your faith. Instead, use this time to reassess your strategies, to refine your skills, and to prepare for the opportunities that will come when the market recovers. Yes, there will be challenges and setbacks along the way, but that's to be expected. Every great journey is marked by obstacles and difficulties. The key is to keep moving forward and to stay focused on your goals, to have faith in your ability to overcome them. So let's not be discouraged by the crypto winter. Let's use it as a chance to grow, to learn, and to prepare for the brighter future that awaits us. And why am I smiling? Well, I'm smiling because that entire soliloquy was written by an AI chatbot. Yes, I'm a big fat fake, and maybe we are doomed, or maybe, as you will see in an upcoming episode, that Anne Handley said, you know what? We actually asked chat, as we called it, GDPR. We asked this open AI bot whether, in fact, AI chatbots would replace copywriters. The answer was, of course we won't. You're going to be just fine. And in that whole prepared response, Anne said, I stopped listening after 2 sentences because it was so goddamn boring. And she said, hey, humans, step up, level up. Because no matter what is brought to us, we can overcome these challenges. Even rise of the machines. We can work with them. They can work for us. But ultimately, it is our passion, it is our emotion, it is our very flawed nature that will allow us to win. So this is my real soliloquy, and it's called One More Day. This is a soliloquy that is going to dovetail very, very nicely into my guest today, John Lee Dumas. And by the way, I am not a chatbot, and I'm not reading this from a chatbot. This is me right now, December 20th, 5:23 p.m. But I love this idea because one more day says, just keep going for one more day. When you wake up tomorrow and you can feel your breath, you're alive, you're kicking, you're in the game. And that means you have another opportunity, another chance to win. Another chance to right the wrongs, another chance to learn from your mistakes, another chance to get closer to your goals, or to reassess, or to pivot, or to introspect. Just keep going. We all know the story of the gold rush and drilling for oil, where somebody stops and gives up 1 inch, 1 moment away from striking it rich. You don't want to be that person. You want to be in the game. You want to stay in the game. You want to give yourself a chance to succeed. And the beautiful thing about it is that we can succeed with the help of each other, with the help of community, with the help of good, kind people that are generous, that are selfless, that pay it forward, that are prepared to actually prioritize their priorities and realize at the end of the day, what are we here for? We're here to make a difference, to actualize ourselves, to inspire, to motivate, to help. We is greater than me. We have the ability to finally live up to the promise, the expectation, the potential of community. So as I wind down, and hopefully as you wind down, come back in January. All systems go, charging, firing on those cylinders. And together, we will change the world. I guarantee it. We're all going to make it. All 3% of us. The hares, the tortoise. I'm not even sure if the plural for tortoises is tortoise, but it sounds like it could be. We're going to make it. We're going to make sure that we are not cooked. And so just before I go, I just want to tell you that I'm giving away a poem. My first poem. All I want you to do, in fact, what I want you to do is go right now or wait. This is going to be open for a few days. If you go to my not famous Discord, bit.ly/not famous Discord, you can actually get a poem to say that you were here. You were here today. You showed up. You showed up on December 20th at 5:26 p.m. And you will have a small piece of this show. Who knows what it will give you? Who knows what it will entail? Who knows what you might be able to win or exchange or redeem for this moment when you and I and we were present together. And now it's time, as the saying goes, to get on with the show. And it's time to bring on my very special guest, the last guest of the year, and the most perfect person to bring on, because if this show is about hope, positivity, and optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of small business, mad skills, then ultimately what you want to do is to realize that you can do it, that you can make it. And more importantly, that, if you just keep going one more day. Why did I call this one more day? Well, I called it one more day because of John Lee Dumas. And normally I would show you or maybe read to you a bio, but sometimes you're just lucky enough to have a piece of video that does the job for you. This is 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And, I've watched it 3 times. I'm not going to lie. I've watched it 3 times. It is fantastic. And this is the best way to bring him on the show. So please watch this. And then the next time you see me, I will have John Lee on the show.
The alarm clock would go off very early every single morning. I'd wake up. I'd check my phone immediately for any emails that had come in. And then it'd be shower, shave, dress in my full suit, and jump in a car. And that car to me represented my first kind of drudgery task for the day. It made me feel trapped because I had done all the right things. I had gone to college. I had been an officer in the Army for 8 years. I had gone to corporate finance. I had worked with John Hancock. I had done commercial real estate. I had done all the right things. And now here I was stuck on this hamster wheel going nowhere, inspiring nobody, especially not myself, and just feeling like I was trapped in this world that I had created. And it was this sinking pit in my stomach. And I just was wondering why. Why have I not found what I'm looking for when I've done everything that I was told I was supposed to do? Here I am, years later, on this same hamster wheel, feeling like I'm even further behind where I thought I was 5 years ago. And this sinking, mundane feeling would just not go away. It was ever present with me. And I just wanted freedom. And I just wanted freedom. I just wanted to do work that I was inspired by. And I just wanted to do work that inspired others. So there I was, stuck in traffic again, but at least I had my podcast, or so I thought. Then, before I knew it, poof, my last podcast had ended, and I scrolled through my iPod, and there was nothing left. And I thought to myself, man, I have to sit here for another 45 minutes in traffic with nothing but the radio. I was devastated. But at that moment, at that devastation moment, that is truly when my aha moment happened. That's when the light bulb went off. I said, what? There's not a 7-day-a-week podcast. There should be a podcast that comes out every single day of the week that interviews inspiring and successful entrepreneurs. And that's when I had my light bulb moment. I said, there should be someone that creates it. Why not me? I know all these great entrepreneurs who are hosts of their own shows. I could be just like them. I can do this. So I had all of these thoughts swirling in my head. Am I going to fail? Am I going to look like a fool in front of my friends and family who up to this point had only seen me as a success? And these were real fears. I used to wake up sweating in the middle of the night saying, what am I doing? This is insane. And the only way that I would be able to go back to sleep was by convincing myself that when I woke up in the morning, I was going to give it all up and go crawling back to my job in commercial real estate. But luckily for me, I would wake up in the morning, the sun would be shining, and I'd say, you know what? I'm going to give it one more day. One more day, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to learn what it takes to upload a media file. I'm going to learn how to create great audio. I'm going to learn what it takes to be an interviewer, a host of a show. And every single day, I would get shot down. I would struggle. I would come up against another wall that would knock me down, but I kept getting up. I kept taking one step forward for every half step that I was taking back. And slowly but surely, I saw myself turning into a podcaster right before my very own eyes. And it was a slow process, but it did come. And I was able to continue to move forward until the launch of Entrepreneur on Fire on September 22nd, because at that point, there was no turning back. Fire Nation, look what we've created. Look at the inspiration we spread throughout this world. A podcast 7 days a week, interviewing the most inspiring and successful entrepreneurs in the world. Seth Godin, Guy Kawasaki, Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk. We are listened to in over 145 countries, millions and millions of unique downloads. Fire Nation, look at what we've created, look at what we've done, and we've just started.
Wow. 3 times now I've seen it today. How many more times? As many times as I need to, because I see myself in that video, John. I see the last 2.5 years of my life. I see the one more day. You are the Les Mis of podcasters. It's just truly inspirational. I don't know why, but I've just connected so strongly with that video and with your story.
Came from the heart. I mean, it really did, because that was me at that moment in my life. You know, I got out of the military and I just honestly thought the world was my oyster. And then I went through 6 years of struggle, just like 6 years of honestly being like, this can't be the future that I was envisioning for my whole life while I was struggling in the military. Like what got me through my time in the Army was like this perfect life that awaited me, and it did not await me. It was not awaiting me. And like I said in the video, I just wanted more. I just wanted more.
There's so much in that video, the concept, and that's why my soliloquy is one more day, one day more. We've all heard the story of the gold rush, or digging for oil, or drilling for oil, being so close, being an inch, literally inches away from striking gold or striking oil, and then quitting. That idea of one day more, it's a powerful concept, because it just says, you know what, when it looks like with all the failure and the rejection and the battle that still has to be waged, just don't focus on the next 10 years and Everest above. Just go one more day, and then another day, and then another day, 1 foot ahead of the other. That's how you do it.
It's a good message. I mean, so many people that I've interviewed over the years have truly become the success that they've become, because when they did not feel like it, they put one more step forward. They took one more swing of the bat. They failed again. They learned a little bit more. They tried again. They failed again. They pivoted a tiny fraction. And then finally, they just hit it out of the park. And a lot of times they were shocked with what it was that took them to that next level, to where they're currently at. But that's the special moment of just getting up every day and saying, how can I add more value to this world?
I love your story, because you were consuming other people's content until one day you ran out. It's like we saw during the last 2.5 years. Help, I've just reached the end of Netflix. Now what do I do? And your message is, when there's no more content to consume, go and create it yourself. It seems so obvious. And yet, as I was saying to someone this morning, common sense is anything but. You went out, saw a gap, and then filled the gap.
Saw the gap. I was living the gap. I knew that I needed to surround myself, if anything else, virtually, with the right people, with inspiring people. And it's actually why, to this day, I end every one of my podcast episodes by saying, hey, Fire Nation, you've been hanging out with JJ and JLD today, so keep up the heat, because you literally now, if you're hearing my voice, if you're hearing Joe's voice, you're hanging out with us and you're surrounding yourself with the right people, with motivating people, with, not famous people, with famous people, and life is good.
Well, I mean, clearly I am not famous because, I see it in the parentheses, which proves the point, which is exactly why I changed the name of the show, because it's not about me. It's about you, JLD, and it's about all of you watching. One of the things that when I manifest where I want this show to go, CNBC, Cheddar, Bloomberg, etc., I basically tell people, even when I am coaching them, I say, write the press release, write the acceptance speech headline, and mine would be an overnight success 20 years in the making. It's this idea that when we see people being successful, we cover it, we're jealous, we're sometimes resentful, they're limiting beliefs, and we never see the hard work. We never see the pain. We never see the sacrifices. But also sometimes, to your point, there is a little tipping point. There is a moment of magic. What was it for you, the moment of magic, the spark that took you from here to there, that catapulted you?
It was that first interview that I did when I actually got to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody who I respected, who I admired, who I looked up to. And that one-on-one where I was able to ask them questions and listen and learn and then share that content with other people through my podcast platform, I said, why wouldn't I want to do this every single day? And that was 10 years ago. That was 3,700 episodes ago. That was over 130 million listens ago. And it's just been a great decade.
Every day. So every day, do you batch them or is it live every day?
Every Thursday, I record 7 podcast interviews.
So that's how it's done. It's 7 in a row. And then, well, listen, you've gained at least one new subscriber today, which is me. And I've been waiting to actually have this conversation live. Yesterday, and by yesterday, I mean 5 weeks ago, there you go, the magic of time travel. I sat down with Tom Peters, and it's the same thing. It's like sitting down with someone whose book inspired you, whose words took you to the next level. It's a magic moment. And I love the fact that it was your very first interview where you said, wait a second, I'm talking to someone that I admire, I respect. Let's do that again and again and again.
And never stop, because I could have stopped long, long ago, for financial reasons or for other reasons. But for me, it's like, why would I want to stop? Because these conversations are fun to me. They're inspiring to me. They keep me younger. I mean, I still feel young, but they keep me even younger because, I'm consistently being, exposed to new ideas, to new opportunities. And it's just fun to kind of continue to keep your finger on the pulse and, get outside of your comfort zone and try new things. And that's, what the life that I've created around Entrepreneurs on Fire truly is.
Can't stop, won't stop. That is the message as we wind up this year and as people think about next year. I always come up with a quote, and this is the quote. I look to, leaders, visionaries, thought leaders, some of the best and brightest minds that have ever lived, even, from thousands of years ago. And this was the quote for you. And it goes like this: stop being a weak imitation of what people are doing. Find what is not being served in the marketplace. This was a Stoic philosopher he just went by initials of JLD. I love the concept of weak imitation. It's not just being same old, being vanilla copying. Don't even be a strong imitation, but hell, don't be a weak imitation, and rather just, target yourself, right? Cheap chic. Stop competing at the bottom of the barrel and go and create your space.
So I run Podcasters Paradise, which you guys might be able to see by my shirt here. And that's one thing that I see every single day is people join our community. They want to start their podcast, and their idea for their big podcast is just that. They want to create a pale, weak imitation of somebody else's successful podcast. And I have to hammer it home to them. Listen, you need to create a real, strong, true, authentic version of you, of your voice, of your message, of your mission, because nobody wants a pale, weak imitation of somebody else's podcast. They want your version of your best, true, authentic podcast that you can individually create. And something that you mentioned, right there at the end is the race to the bottom. And there's a quote by Seth Godin that I love is, the problem with the race to the bottom is you just might win. And who wants to win that race? I mean, that's a race you don't want to even be a part of, let alone win.
I've had Seth on the show, and he never ceases to amaze me and surprise me and inspire me, including when he created this beautiful wood-fired birthday card on my birthday. He came on the show on my 50th birthday. His books are amazing, but you've written a book, and I just want to kind of pay a little homage to this book and to you. And I even created a few things. So this is the point at which I try and do my best to, just cover and blanket the entire world with your brilliance. But the book is the book which I want you all to go and buy. It is called The Common Path to Uncommon Success, a roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment. And you can find out more at uncommonsuccessbook.com. One of the things I did is I was looking at all these steps, and I just highlighted a few things that spoke to me. And in the time we have left, because I already want people to take away, if you are doing it already, congratulations, you're on track. Keep doing it. Remember, one day more, one more day. If you haven't started, if you are itching to start, if you're sitting on that highway, just like JLD was, this is your time to start, but not with a weak imitation. And so there are a couple of things that spoke to me. The first one was this idea of, and I made these up for you. I'll send them to you later as well. I would just love you to give us a quick fire explanation of what these mean, and just maybe a takeaway. Obviously, choose your platform. When I think about it, it's like, hey, Joe, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, blah, 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 blah. Choose one.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
I mean, listen, there's a million things that all of us could do, and that's where overwhelm begins. Not everybody should have a podcast. Not everybody should have a YouTube channel. Not everybody should be on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. You need to say, what is a platform that actually resonates with me, with my strengths, with my curiosity, with something that I'm interested in, and then go all in on that platform. And for me, that was podcasting. I went all in, and that's why I became the daily podcaster interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs. So identify and then choose your platform.
All right. The second one, which I love, is this idea of find your niche, discover your niche. And, I in my mind, I think of the idea of niching down, and some people resist niching down. Talk a little bit about what this means.
I actually like to just use the phrase niche your flipping face off, because if you're going to win in this world, if you're going to stand out, it's because you are going to identify a void in the marketplace, an underserved market, something that other people either aren't doing at all or are doing very poorly, and becoming the number one solution to a real problem in that niche. If you can become the number one solution to a real problem, you will win.
The next one is engage with your avatars. And I figure you're not talking about the metaverse here, but ultimately when you read a little bit and go a little bit deeper, this is, management by walkabout. Go and actually talk to the people that you're serving.
You have to engage with your perfect listener for your podcast, consumer of your content, buyer of your product, your perfect client, your perfect customer. Who is that individual? And you have to engage with them. You have to ask them real, meaningful questions. How did you find out about me? What do you like about my content? What don't you like about my content? What is your biggest struggle right now? These are questions you have to be having with your avatar.
Well, I'm going to go and find that avatar right now. And I love it because it's like sometimes we just surmise what they think as opposed to really ask them. And of course, one of the most powerful questions is, how did you find out about us? So I really love that. I think we have just a couple more. Obviously, people need to go and read the book and join Fire Nation. But this one they all speak to me, which is why I chose these ones. Increase your traffic. We're stuck in our bubbles. We're stuck in purgatory, the purgatory of trying to grow our audience in our social media circles. Increase your traffic. It sounds good. It's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. Give us a hack in terms of what we can do to increase our traffic.
So it's so critical that you understand this very common phrase, which for me as a podcaster is very applicable, but you can insert the word podcast for whatever it is that you do in this world, for whatever your platform is. But podcast listeners listen to podcasts. So guess what? Today is my day. Today's the day that I'm actually a guest on 17 other podcasts throughout the course of the day today, because this is the day that I blocked out. I'm going back to back. I'm being interviewed by a lot of people on other podcasts, because I guess I know that everybody that's listening to this podcast listens to podcasts. And so they love Joe. That's why they're listening to this. I want to become one of the 7 podcasts that the average podcaster subscribes to. If I can become one of their 7, I'm building my audience, and I'm doing that every single month. I am a guest on a minimum of, between 10 to 20 other podcasts.
Wow.
Because I know the podcast listeners listen to podcasts.
What a simple, elegant, succinct, and powerful point. And then the final one is create your own mastermind. But I guess you've already answered it, because the last 20 minutes has been a mastermind of such. I'd never even heard of the term mastermind before the last 2.5 years. Tell us just a little bit in terms of how does one go and create one's own mastermind, as opposed to obviously joining an existing one?
You need to find peers that you know, like, and trust, that are either a little bit in front of you or a little bit behind you, or right where you're at in your business journey. Meet on a weekly basis, and for an hour, you are sharing the common struggles, obstacles, challenges, questions that you have in your business with each other, holding each other accountable, supporting and guiding each other. It has to be a peer group, 2 people, 3 people, including your, and in addition to yourself. So a maximum of 3 or 4 total people for your mastermind, meeting on a weekly basis, committing to helping each other move forward. It's critical.
JLD, it is the last episode of the show in 2022. I want you to leave my community and this audience, even our audience, together with just parting words or just a little bit of advice as we wind down a tough year, no doubt expecting another tough year. It seems like they're all tough. But what's one piece of advice to reassure, to motivate people to keep going?
Albert Einstein very wisely said, try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. And if you can take that into 2023, you're going to have a very enjoyable year, because becoming a person of value is beneficial on so many levels.
Perfect words to end with. JLD, thank you for being guest number 425, and without question, my best guest yet. And you can tell that to Seth Godin as well. But in all seriousness, we're in a time now where we are blazing our trails, where we are demonstrating our mercenary, our entrepreneurial skills as content creators, as creators in general. I think if you go back and connect the dots of this conversation, I've already identified some of them. What you will get is a beautiful blueprint and a roadmap to be on fire. And of course, the first step is to join Fire Nation.
Love it, brother.
Thank you so much. All right. And that was JLD. And we will be back right after this. Actually, we're back now, and we're back live. And I have to tell you, watching that back and watching it as well, I learned more. I gained more. There were things that I missed when I was actually the host. I really appreciated watching that. I thought it was the perfect way to end the year, but actually maybe not. I think the perfect way to end the year is by paying tribute and testament and celebrating the creator economy, the rise of the creator, not just art and artists, but I think more importantly, innovators as well, innovative artists in an incredible, interesting time. So let me tell you a little bit about Violetta Zaroni. She's an Italian-born and raised singer, songwriter, and actress. She's currently based in Berlin. Now I realize it might be kind of late in the evening. After being signed to a major label at the age of 18 for 2 years, she became a full-time independent artist and spent the following 7 years touring, writing songs, and releasing records. She has written songs for movies, commercials, and other artists. She's currently signed to publishing company BMG and has a total of 10 million Spotify streams. She has also been working as an actress and is currently featured in Netflix's original movie, Rose Island. In January 2022, she dove into the world of music NFTs and has successfully dropped 2 collections. Her latest, Moonshot, a 2,500-piece collection based on music and hand-drawn art, is, sorry to disappoint, sold out and one of the biggest selling music NFT projects in the world, generating 200 ETH in just 7 months with a floor price that's tripled in value. But remember, you can always get it on OpenSea. So now it's time to welcome her on the show. Violetta, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joseph. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Thank you for being so patient. What did you think of the show so far?
I loved it. I learned so much as well. So I was just listening, doing some admin work and enjoying it. I love it.
I learned a lot as well, watching myself playing back, etc. But I have to tell you, I discovered you and I was mesmerized, hypnotized, as I said, fell in love with your art, your artistry in audio, complete audio on Ryan Carson's Daily Dose. Ryan has been an amazing catalyst for me and proof that community works. So I thought, like, what better way to end the year than to ask you to perform that song that I think you're performing the same song, Moonshot. I love the fact that you've actually created. Wait, which came first? Did the song, chicken or the egg? Did the song come before the NFT collection, or the NFT collection come before the song?
The song came before, and it came 3 years before I even heard of NFTs. So yeah, it's been around since 2019. I only discovered NFTs a year ago. So I don't know.
I love it. So, because I actually think that every NFT collection, every community, every book should have its own anthem, should have its own song. And maybe that's a new revenue stream for artists, or maybe not. But I just, the power of audio is so powerful. I mean, I believe in video. This is a video show, but the power of audio is just incredible. And I just heard the song and I was like, this is magic. I wonder if she'll come on the show and perform Moonshot. So if you would be so kind, I will, as I always say, disappear into, as Mike Tyson would say, Bolivian, and let you do your thing. And please take it away.
Let's absolutely do it. This is, yeah, like Joseph said, this is my song Moonshot. I perform on Twitter Spaces pretty much 24 hours a day. So I hope you like it. I would cross the universe and circle around the sun to find that little part of my heart I've never known. And I would give up everything. I would defy gravity, 'cause something's out there telling me I am not alone, and I would travel far and wide to reach my destination. Fly among the stardust, realigning constellations. So fire up my rocket ship, I'm ready to risk it all. 'Cause you and me are meant to be the moonshot of the moon. Watching out the window as the planets pass me by, sending out a signal, waiting your reply. I'm not afraid of loneliness, but you're the only thing I miss. So if you're there in the abyss, send me back a sign, and I would travel far and wide to reach my destination. Fly among the stars, realigning constellations. So fire up my rocket ship, I'm ready to risk it all. 'Cause you and me are meant to be the moonshot of the moon. I would travel far and wide to reach my destination. Fly among the stars, 'cause I know that you'll be waiting. So fire up my rocket ship, I'm ready to risk it all. 'Cause you and me are meant to be the moonshot. Yeah, you and me are meant to be the moonshot. Yeah, you and me just might be the moonshot of the moon. Ooh. There you go. I don't know if I can hear you.
Yeah, because I muted myself because I was like, I am not going to interrupt or disturb the dogs barking, the birds chirping. I was going to say Steve Jordan said, and that's why music NFT artists are crushing it.
Steve, shout out to Steve. He's in my community.
And it really is true, because we discussed the idea of what came first, and maybe the answer is it doesn't matter which came first, that you actually realize they all just flow together, they all blend together, they all meld together, and what results at the end of the day is just beautiful art, inspiration. I mean, I feel so at peace after hearing that beautiful song. I feel like with everything that has happened in this year, it's a time to just look back and say, you know what, whatever you achieved or you didn't achieve, one more day, you're still in the game, and we will together, we will crush it in 2023.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me share. I don't know if you've ever, spoken about the music NFT scene, but it's really vibrant, and there's plenty of artists that are so talented out there dropping NFTs and paving the way for what I think will be the next wave for the music industry, really. So.
And you're not done. You're not done yet. I don't know if you saw while you were performing, I even put up a little icon in the top right-hand corner as well. This episode is sponsored by. Tell us about what's next for you, and if anyone is watching and you seriously are hesitating, do not wait. Do not wait. Do not miss the boat. Tell us about Gypsy Heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So Gypsy Heart is my second music NFT collection. And when I speak about collections, I really talk about albums, because music NFT artists can take either a song or a full album and make it an NFT collection out of it. So how it's going to be is 5 songs, brand new songs. So this one that you just heard is from the Moonshot collection, the first one. Then I've got 5 more that I recorded on tape, completely analog, because I want to bring this like roughness, this, really old school, fine kind of type of recording to the blockchain, right? From tape to blockchain. I think it's going to be, a really cool thing to bring something so kind of frail, like a tape recording, to the blockchain and have it live there forever. And every song is going to be paired with one of 5,000 PFPs, PFP characters, hand-drawn by a Disney artist, an amazing cartoon artist called Ariana. She's from Italy, like me. So she's drawing the PFPs inspired by the music. And yeah, we're launching this collection officially at the end of January. But we want to give the community the opportunity to get an early bird access. So we're minting passes. So if you buy a pass on Thursday for 0.08, then you can mint Gypsy Heart for free in January. That's your mint locked in. There's only 500 of them. This is like a flash discount round. We did 500 last month for 0.06. So the price is kind of increasing as we go. And those minted out in 20 minutes. So it feels like there's a lot of, excitement around music NFTs right now. So yeah, we're launching this Thursday and see how it goes. Obviously, if you have the first collection, Moonshot, you get a free airdrop. So you could do that as well. But the floor is 0.18, which might not be, affordable for everybody. So if that's the case, I recommend getting one of those Gypsy Heart passes on Thursday.
I mean, 0.18 is what's it, $200 or well worth it. Not only, and we discussed this in the Collective Cafe this morning. To me, the future of this business is besides community and building economies where more people can win, I call it community capitalism. It's the 2 A's, what I call assets and access. And I think people are getting access to maybe the 3rd A, which is an artist, which is fantastic. Wow. To be able to understand and be a part of your journey and experience it with you and celebrate with you and sometimes even commiserate with you, but do it together. That kind of access was just not known before.
I think it's utility for me as an artist as well, because I get to connect with my audience better than I ever could. And believe it or not, I get a lot of inspiration from that. And it's like having a team of 850 people that support you. So yeah, definitely they get access to, I play a concert on Zoom every Friday for my community. All you need is one. And every Friday you access this concert. Of course, free tickets for lifetime to my concerts, vinyl records. But really, I think, investing in a music artist is one of the safest things you can do, because music is such a marketable thing. Like, you can really place it anywhere: podcasts, TV shows, movies, radio, everywhere. So the access that the Web 2, when you're talking about onboarding also like 1 billion wallets, I think music is going to play a big part in that kind of process, because everyone loves music. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't like music. So one way or another, they're going to be attracted to this. So
everyone loves music. Everyone loves you. Her Crypto loves you. I will give the sound effects to Her Crypto as well. And let me ask you one more question just before we go. First of all, I've invited you back on the show as a guest not just a performer, but a guest. So maybe in the first quarter, once the collection is launched, or whenever you want to come, the door is always open to you. You're now part of the family. But the one question, you're very, very welcome. The one question I wanted to ask you is, by buying into this and buying into these collections, are you able to, for example, myself as a host of a show and a showrunner, am I able to use the audio and the songs and bring them into my soliloquies and even be able to, do I have rights for that? Or and if not, is that something that you're thinking of?
So one of the utilities that we give to our holders is what you just said. So you're hosting a podcast, you're going to be able to use the track for your podcast. So we only had one person actually that used this utility so far. And it's the founder of another project that used the song Moonshot that I just played as the soundtrack to their website when it opens. So because he's a holder, he could do that. In terms of giving like commercial rights and even like IP rights to the music, I'm not doing that. And I can tell you why in short. And it's because I want to protect the brand. I want to make sure that I am aware where my music is ending up and how people are commercializing it, because I want to make sure that it stays on brand. I'm not just an entrepreneur, a business person behind the scenes. I'm the face of the project and the voice. I'm the artist, right? Behind it and in front of it. So everything has to be really tied to, the artist. People buy this collection also because they like me, and it's not just the financial value of it. So I have to make sure that everything stays perfectly on brand, and I want to take the responsibility to push that IP rather than giving it to my community that shouldn't have to worry about that. They should just enjoy it,
Well, I do. I like you. I love you. I love the music. I love the art. And I would be honored at any point in time to bring some of your music and always to be able to feature your music and be an ambassador and an outlet to spread and grow your brand. I'm a marketer. I'm a teacher. I understand branding, and I love that response. In fact, that might even find its way into one of my upcoming courses at NYU. I will be buying into the collection. I will be joining the community. I think this is the perfect way to end the year. And I feel, as I said earlier, I feel at peace. And I can tell you somebody else that I feel will be buying into your community and your music will be Chuck Norris.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
And we will be back in 2023. And Violetta, thank you again for
thank you so much.
Perfect way to end the year.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.